right, so we were talking about the industry and talking about how people can, I guess, the different ways they can monetize. Where some people are interested in the reach, some people are interested in the money. We were talking about a combination of both, because if you have the reach, then obviously you want to have more traffic, and then you can make more money.
Exactly. Like, see, back in the day when I spoke at a lot of women's conferences, and I was going to places like Women Thou Art Loosed and Creflo Dollar, or, you know, those big venues, they would have conferences, and I could sell, you know, I wouldn't even tell you how many books I would sell.
I was waiting for the number. Could you all see me getting excited?
Yeah, like, but so, you know, besides, you know, what you got for speaking, you took home a nice chunk, you know.
And see, now I want to know what we won't put all of that out there.
You know, I had a whole spread. And I was the only author there with like a spread of books, because most people just had 1 or 2 books. And I had, you know, something for everybody. I had novels I had written. I had devotional. I had single women stuff. I had married women. I even had a men's book because the men harassed me to write a book for them. So I had this whole spread. So I would have to have like 2 assistants that traveled with me just to handle my table.
You know who told me that strategy, if you will, back in 2004, 2005? Our friend Lakita.
Yeah.
And Lakita said, Jay, what you want to do is you want to have everything on your table because they're going to buy something. And I had specials, and I had bundles.
I had bundles, and I had cute little bling cups, and I had little accessories. I had a whole line of t-shirts, you know, and they were going to buy something, you know, they were going to buy something. And then Creflo, you know, his people are just crazy. They're just,
so you would sell out.
I would completely sell out. And when I sold out, they would just leave checks there saying, she blessed us. Here, give her this. I was like, whoa. You know,
so really came home. That was the next level.
Yeah, it was. So, you know, like I said, but life happens, you know, and you should never bank on things always being the way they were.
Say that again, because I don't think the saying is, say that for the people in the back, because I don't think they heard you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they are not all, life does not remain the same. There are challenges, there are twists and turns, you know, like in any good movie. Gotta have the conflict, gotta have the trouble, gotta have the problem to solve, you know. But I don't get that excited anymore with setbacks, because God has shown himself to be so faithful over the years. And as a matter of fact, I remember when I got fired from Burrell. I got fired from Burrell twice. That's a whole other story.
But you got fired.
I got fired, baby. And then they rehired me, and then they fired me again. And then they rehired me again. And I won 2 awards for them after that. So that's a whole other story.
I was gonna say, I would leave that alone.
But you know, I asked a friend of mine, I said, aren't you worried about me? She says, no. And I said, why? And she said, because every time something happens in your life, you always bounce back 10 times above where you were. So no, I'm not worried. I'm just waiting to see where you're going this time. I said, oh, okay. I never forgot that. And it was true.
And that's what gives you a peace and a confidence when you face different situations.
Exactly. So, I mean, I came to Ghana and I was like, what now? You know, and of course I love the lifestyle, you know, things I love about Ghana besides the food. And did I say the food?
You said the food.
I said the food.
And I have had you, did you cook? I think you cooked one time.
I cooked one time, but then I've got somebody that cooks, and that's the other part. Somebody's always saying to me, are you ever gonna move back to America? And I'm like, I don't know if I could survive.
Because the food is so different.
Well, I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled by the help. It's so funny. I went to Sephora to buy some makeup, right?
When you were
when I was in the States a couple weeks ago. So I go to Sephora, and this nice little, you know, young girl helping me out, you know, because I'm going, where's this and where's that? And she's showing me where everything is. She goes, I think you need a basket. I say, yeah, I do need a basket. So she goes and she gets the basket. Now in Ghana, if somebody went to get you the basket, they would stand there and hold the basket while you picked out what you wanted.
That's what that is.
And they would walk you to the counter with the basket. And they would walk you to your car with the basket. You would never carry that basket. And here I am. That's what I'm used to. I didn't even think about it. So she stood there for a minute with the basket and she said, here you go. And I was like, oh yeah.
I'm back.
I'm in America. Ain't no help, You know, I'm in America and I'm driving the car myself. I come back home, I tell my driver, yeah, I drove to Michigan. He's like,
drove?
Huh?
Madam, you drove?
Madame, you drove? Yes, I drove. So, you know.
That's the difference.
Yeah, there's a support system. And it's not just the help, it's also family. Family is very, very involved with one another here. You know, if you're homeless, it's because you're crazy, because you got somewhere to go. You know, there's a family compound somewhere that you could live in. Some relative would take you in. I mean, it's not like in the States where you lose your job, you go sleep on your friend's couch, and after 2 weeks, they're like, you paying rent or you leaving? You know, it's not like that. You know, so, you know, I've had people living with me in my house since I got here, pretty much. And when friends visit me from the States, I was like, so how long has this person been in your house?
And they're asking.
And why are they still here?
And how much rent are they paying?
Why aren't they paying rent? And well, that's just wrong. And I'm like, no, that's life here, and I like it.
That's the difference in the culture.
Yeah, it's the community. You know, people take care of each other. They support one another. And you know, I mean, I got in some fights pretty much with some of my friends
because they didn't understand.
They didn't understand that culture piece was just far-reaching for them. You know, so.
But they would understand someone cooking and the driver.
Oh, they liked that part. Yeah. They got home and they would call me to I woke up this morning and no one's here to fix my breakfast. and speaking of that, just health-wise, fresh coconut by the roadside, fresh vegetables.
Oh no, that mango puree.
We bought the mangoes and pureed it and mixed it with some coconut water.
I was trying to contain myself. I was trying to behave because I was like, now how much? She's not drinking the mango puree, so let me get a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let me get a little bit more right here.
That pineapple ginger and that fresh coconut water, and you know, so you're living a clean, natural life, you know.
So that's a benefit because again, a lot of people are thinking from a fear perspective about Africa.
Yeah.
But when you get here, and you live here, or you spend extended amounts of time here, it's like you forget all of that. You're like, why did it take me so long to figure this out? I
mean, you get off the plane, and of course, our airport is like the pride of Africa. The Nigerians are so jealous.
The airport is not like the airport here?
No.
Really?
No. That airport's like, remember old LaGuardia when you used to say, they need to fix this. This is the gateway to it. Oh, yeah. So, you know, when they come to Accra, they're like, oh my God, look at this airport. You know,
really?
And our airport
in Nigeria, and now is this Abuja and Lagos?
The Abuja airport, I don't even remember what that looked like.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's a smaller airport. But
so they're going to have to do something because Nigeria is the wealthiest country in Africa.
I don't know why a couple millionaires don't just get together and do the airport. I don't get it, but it is what it is.
200 million people.
I love my Nigerian people, by the way. Fabulous fashion there. But
it's next on my list. I have to get to Nigeria.
That's a whole different experience.
Yes, everyone tells me that. That's probably
Nigeria is the New York of Africa. If you could make it there, you could make it anywhere. That's what I say.
And how about this? If
and
you
the
can
same
make it,
flavor. I mean, the hustle, the bustle, the too loud, too crowded, too dirty, too everything.
Everything.
Yeah, it's New York.
But they say if you can make it in Lagos,
you can make it.
You can make it anywhere. That's probably why a lot of Nigerians go and dominate wherever they go.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, you know, business-minded, very savvy. Nigerian men have plenty swaggle.
Okay, so that's
yeah.
All right. So
yeah, and then I would say that Ghana's more like Atlanta. You know,
interesting.
Very laid back, kind of. You know, much more passive, much more gentle. Don't want to rock the boat, no confrontation. I don't know about
Atlantans have stepped up their game a little bit, though.
So I actually was going to slide down a little further to maybe like an Alabama about
I was going to say, because Atlanta has kind of stepped there.
Yeah, they're moving a little fast now. So I'll say Alabama.
Okay, so Birmingham. Nice Charlotte,
exactly.
Birmingham.
Yes. And it's, you know, like I said, it's that mix of old and new. When you come here, one of my friends was very shocked to see all the luxury automobiles. We love our nice cars here.
I've seen the
nice
Rangers,
homes
the BMWs,
and nice
the
cars.
Benzes, yes.
And fashion.
Yes.
Very, very fashion conscious society. A lot of time and energy is spent on the creation of beautiful garments. And I'm spoiled rotten there too, because when I go to the States, I don't buy clothes. I don't buy clothes anymore. I buy shoes.
Right, but you don't have to buy. It's like
everything here is made for me.
Yes.
You know, I don't purchase. I would say I do 2% ready to wear, and everything else I have people that sew for me. I go and I pick my fabric, and we sit and we pick pictures or draw things and create, you know, and the clothes here are just over the top, fabulous.
You know, I'm glad that you're sharing this because so many people think third world, run
we're
down,
living in trees and wrapping towels around us.
Everybody's sick and dying and everything, and it's like, no.
As a matter of fact, I told my mother once, she says, well, you know, how you doing? I said, you know what? I'm in constant fashion crisis because every time I go somewhere, I have to have a new outfit. I mean, people will remember you. And then with social media, you know, so it becomes a whole project. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But you can now do it at a very reasonable price.
Yes. And here's the thing too. You can go from very reasonable to very expensive here too, because there are some very high-end couturier type of fashion designers here. As a matter of fact, every black bride in America should get their dresses made in Ghana, as far as I'm concerned. They've got our skin color mesh, and they do fantastic things and embellished, and they make you look like a mermaid by the time they finish boning you. Oh, they're over the top.
But I'm gonna take it to the next level. Why don't you come to Ghana for your destination wedding?
Most definitely.
Birthday parties, weddings, you could do it all.
It would be so fabulous.
I mean, because they party, they know how to party.
They party. You know what? If somebody dropped a couple million on me right now, I would be building event places because that's it. I mean, events is big money here, and they are over the top. They're themed. The colors you wear, the decor. It is serious business. They are serious about going out. Serious about styling and profiling, wrapping heads, you know, jewelry, dripping in pearls and
so let's rewind that back a little bit. Maybe not Birmingham or Charlotte. Maybe that twinge of Atlanta is in there.
There's a little twinge. There's a little bit of Hollywood in there too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a city in America that I don't think it's Atlanta, but there's a twinge of Atlanta. But Ghana, I don't know if Ghana is as laid back as Birmingham. Because you're talking about the fashion, you're talking about all of this.
So it's kind of a slash hybrid of a southern state and a little bit of Chicago. Because you know how Chicago has that small town feel, but then it's very social and they really like to dress.
I can see a Chicago, I can see New York, Chicago, because Chicago has a little vibe about it too, a little attitude. Because Ghanaians have a little attitude about them too.
They do.
So they're proud of who they are.
And I see you have your shirt on.
I do. It's rubbing off on me. It's happening. I didn't know if it was going to happen, but it is happening. And that's what I'm saying. They're proud about their watching. They're proud about that Jolo. They're proud.
And there's a big music scene here at night
and the music too.
Lots of good music at night. Lots of places to go and experience.
Live music.
Live music. So they're very, very social. Ghanaians are very, very social. I mean, you literally can run yourself down. I think I've now gotten to the place where I pace myself. But there was a time when it was like, another event. Thank you, COVID, for just slowing us all down. I hate to say, because it really, you know, weddings are huge here. Funerals are even an event. Funerals, you go to be seen. I mean, you go to see, but you go to be seen. I mean, it is very social. That is a place that you go, and that goes on for a couple of days, and there's a big reception, and the whole night. Even if you don't know the person, you just go because who else is going to be
crash a funeral?
They do crash funerals. They crash weddings.
Really?
Yes.
I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna go crash somebody's wedding. Hey.
Serious. The weddings are big productions, you know, because they have the engagement and then they have the wedding. So you've got two ceremonies. And then some people, if they've got money like that, then they'll do their destination celebration and have a wedding in Italy or Greece or
really? So they'll
Mauritius.
They'll just go somewhere else altogether.
They'll go someplace
and take
else.
everybody with them.
And take everybody with them. I've been to birthday parties.
You told me about
Cape
that.
Town and Greece, and I'm like, you people, my presence is your present. Come on now.
And they were from Ghana.
Yeah, or
Wow.
Nigeria. Nigerians do it even more than Ghanaians.
Yeah, I see a whole lot of Nigerians here in Ghana.
Yes, this has become their vacation place.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting that Nigerians would come to Ghana to vacate at their vacation?
They do.
But they love it.
They love it.
They love it. I mean,
well, you've got the Kempinski here. You have
do.
Corliss. There are a couple of, really fabulous luxury 5-star hotels.
Yes.
The restaurants are off the charts. And you can find not just Ghanaian food here. You can find any kind of, Italian, American, French. There's a couple fabulous French restaurants.
La Chomé, I mean.
La Chomé, yeah. Oh my goodness, Le Tandem.
Okay, I'll try Tandem.
And then there's even, you can find sushi if you want sushi.
You
can find, anything here. So
because that's a question people ask me. Well, what am I going to eat? Is it going to be grass and
plenty
worms?
places to eat.
Like,
you will go home. You know what? You should fast before you come because you're going to gain at least 10 pounds eating.
You will.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is, okay, so we've talked about Ghana. Everyone knows we love Ghana. That's why we're here.
Yes.
I want to talk about this.
Okay.
This statue right here. Is it okay if I touch it?
Yeah, you can touch it.
All right. Can I pick it up?
That's my girl.
All right. This is the Emmy.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about this Emmy.
Well, I got it. I was on a show called Aspiring Women. And we got nominated like 5 years in a row. And finally, the show won, and I won for co-hosting one of the episodes that we did. And so it's my little pride and joy. And I think I was sharing with you that I was on this whole route of doing a talk show in America that never happened.
Yes.
And I came here, and Ghana is Gollywood. And so they do hundreds of films here a year.
So Gollywood.
And I got asked if they could use my house for a movie they were shooting. And I said, sure. And then they said, we have this role. You think you could do this little part for us? So
sure.
My 5 minutes of fame blew up, and I'm now, many movies and television series later.
Really?
I am a part of the film community here as well.
Really?
Yes. And I've actually written and produced and starred in my own film, which I'm still finishing, called First Love.
I'm just learning all these new things in this conversation.
Yeah. So I say that to say that sometimes if your dreams aren't taking place there, your dreams can take place here. It's kind of the Wild Wild West in that way, that if you've got a dream that you want to live out, you can come here and people are just so much more open
to you,
and it can just take off, So, here, I've never auditioned for a film. They literally write roles for me and call me and say, we have this role for you. So,
my mind is working now because I try to tell people that in America, if you're not careful, you can find yourself in a bubble.
Yeah.
And what this bubble does is it keeps you thinking that America is this exclusive place that has everything. But then you step outside of it and you look back and you're like, okay, there are nice things there. Mm-hmm. But what all is happening here in other parts of West Africa, even South and
Nigeria, hundreds of thousands of films are done a year.
Yeah, and I hear Nigeria is like
they just blow up. Yeah. Ghana's catching up. We've got some rising directors that are doing amazing work. But one of the films I was in here was on the plane.
Really?
So, yeah.
So the Emmy came along. Mm-hmm. You got that. This is all happening after the shutdown.
No, this happened before. This was before I left. Before I left America, I got this. This is in 2006. So this was still during the good times.
Okay, so that was during the high rolling times.
Yes.
Wheeling and dealing and all of that.
Yes.
So shortly after this, I would think shortly after this, that's when everything came down.
Yeah, about after, I'd say 2012.
Okay, no, that was a little while after that. Okay, so 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone? Because you're international.
2009, 2009. 9, yeah, was when the slide started, because he passed in 10 and I moved in 11.
Okay, so about 5-year window after this. What would you say to someone right now who's watching this and they are in a position in their life where the shutdown is happening? They don't know what to do. They're fearful, they're whatever emotions. Tell me about some of the emotions that you felt, because the human raw emotions, you know, because they're the right things to say, but then it's the real, that thing you're like, I don't believe this is happening right now.
Right.
What are some of the raw emotions that you went through?
Okay, so I process things differently. For me, I am always looking for the escape hatch. I don't settle into what's happening very much.
Okay.
So when stuff like that happens, if I figure out that I can't figure it out, I then start going, what's my options? I can go through this, I can go through door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3.
So you're looking for options. You don't settle into the situation. Right. You're like, okay, what's next?
If I can't figure out the options, then I go, okay, God's up to something. And he hasn't revealed it yet. So then I get real quiet.
At that point, you get quiet. After you've exhausted everything.
Exactly. You know, I'll talk to a few trusted people that I know are wise. And if something interesting happens when it's God doing it. I remember a friend of mine, Carlos Malone, said once, oh, everyone's always taking everything back from the devil. What if God's got your stuff? What you gonna do then?
But
and every now and then, God's got your stuff.
That's right. Because we give the devil credit, and God's like, the devil has nothing to do with this.
Right.
This
well, it's got to get past God's desk, even if the devil's doing it. Right.
Either way.
So if he allowed it, he's going to use it.
At the end, that's right.
So, you know, if you get to the place where you can't figure out the options, because sometimes it is just about picking another option. God's just doing a reset or a redirect and saying, go over this way. That season for that is over. And you got to be able to let go and accept that too. I mean, I went through that when Burrell let me go the second time. And then they hired me back to do a project that took me on the road for a year, and I ended up winning a Philo award for that. It was a piece, I did 2 pieces. I won 2 Philos the same year, first and second place, for a McDonald's infomercial and for a Spelman documentary that I did. But, and I found out that I could produce something myself and direct it myself.
I'm listening to all of this.
Yeah, so I figured out I had some skills that I hadn't really exercised.
Because you're getting awards.
Exactly, and I got awards for it. And then I was doing voiceovers on commercials.
I heard one of your voiceovers.
Yeah, so, you know, I found a new skill set, okay?
After writing 42 books.
well,
in the process of writing.
No, I hadn't really let out the books yet. That was the thing. I had not written a book yet. Okay, so here, this is the deal, guys. So the first time I got fired from Burrell, I had my Moses year in LA, because I still didn't know who I was or what I had yet. So the things I could have been doing, I didn't do that year. I just kind of sat there, got poor. My job called me back because all the clients were asking for me because I was good.
Because you could sell.
Right.
You could sell.
Yeah. So I go back to Burrell, and I'm banging. I'm doing it. I'm getting big raises, and I'm there for a while, and then all of a sudden they have cutbacks. Was really what happened. It really wasn't about me that time. My boss actually said I had to let somebody in the creative department go, and I thought about who was the most likely to survive, and it was you. And I think you've got stuff inside of you that you're never going to use as long as you're here because you're too comfortable. That's what she said to me. And that's why they let you go. And they let me go. And I said, well, that's the sweetest firing I ever had in my life. Anyway, so, but it was true. So after that, I'm on my way to an audition for Hamburger Helper. I was going to be a voiceover on Hamburger Helper. I remember directly. And I got hit by a car. 3 operations, a year and a half in bed later, I wrote my first book. Now, I had started writing that book 2 years before I left Burrell. I wrote 1 chapter and put it to the side because I'm a happy sanguine with a short attention span. Understood. So when I was in bed, you couldn't go anywhere. All you could do was write. I couldn't go anywhere. And my friends stood around the bed and said, what do you think God's saying to you? What are you supposed to be doing? Because if he's got you in this position, there's something he wants you to do. And then somebody, I said, I don't know. And then somebody said, what happened to that book you started writing 2 years ago? Maybe you should finish it now. You can't even do anything else. And this was the first book. This was the first book, What to Do Until Love Finds You. Harvest House picked it up. it sold out of its first printing in 3 weeks. 12,000 copies.
In 3 weeks.
And they were looking at me like I had 10 heads. Like, who are you and where did you come from? This never happens.
And this was after being in the bed, after a car accident.
Being in the bed. I finished that book in bed.
And this was before you actually wrote the book. You could actually sit there and do.
Yeah, I wrote the book.
Yeah,
I mean, I've written all my books.
Because sometimes what you can do, there are other ways you can write books.
Well, I didn't know about that. Because people would always say, because I was like after that, my career kind of just took off and I was writing like 2 to 3 books a year. So people were always saying, do you write your books yourself? And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know about ghostwriters. I didn't know about any of that.
You could take
and I was
all
like,
your messages
who else
and
would be writing it, So then they came back and said, what do you want to write next? And I was like, I got to keep this up. And then I started getting invited to speak. That was not even on my radar, I mean, so I got to tell you that probably for the first part of my life, I had no plan. Okay.
Right,
I was in advertising. I was an art director, writer. I was aspiring to be actually a singer. I really wanted to sing.
And we haven't even talked about the singing yet.
And so in the middle of that, I also got a publishing deal with Famous Music, which is now Sony Music. I was writing with Ku Carell, who did Umbrella and Single Ladies, vocal production.
Okay.
And Lainey Stewart, who does Chris Brown and all those people. Their careers blew up in the secular world, and I took a different path.
Right.
I didn't want to write what they wanted me to write, so I got out.
Understood.
So I had that going on because I was doing jingles and singing on jingles for Coca-Cola and McDonald's and everything. So all of that's going on, and that was enough to distract me from not finishing that book. So now I'm in bed. I'm not working because I can't even stand up. I had to learn to walk again.
Car accident.
Oh yeah, I had to learn to walk again. I was in therapy for forever, because I had 3 operations. I had to go back to therapy every time. So my whole existence was about learning to walk again. And so when my leg was in its brace and it was suspended up, all I could do was sit there with it was a typewriter. I didn't even have a Mac at the point.
No typewriter.
And wrote my first book. So, and I had a friend that was sending out queries to publishers, and I was getting all these rejection letters, and then finally somebody wanted it. And then the attorney I had said, this is the most awful deal I've ever seen. I don't want any part of it. If you want to sign it on your own. So I went back to Harvest House, and he said, give me 3 weeks, Bill Jensen, give me 3 weeks. Unbeknownst to me, he went into the president's office and said, this woman is a real writer. I want to grow old with her. Please sign this book.
And so they got a better deal.
So they got me, and I did over 20 something books with them. They became home and family, great publishing company, and then of course I've done with Waterbrook and Multnomah and Tyndale and Zondervan.
Oh, you've been with
Thomas
everybody.
Nelson, Hachette, Faith Words,
Okay.
So I did all those, and so that led me into the world of television interviews and radio interviews, and that's how I ended up getting the TV show. And what else happened? It's been a very heady existence.
But everything you're talking to us about, going from sales to production.
Well, creative, yeah.
To production, to an author. Nobody knows, or very few people know about your singing in your group and all that you've done with Relevance.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I have to give some credit to someone, dear friends of mine in South Africa. One of my favorite invitations I ever got to minister was at a church called Rivers in Johannesburg. And when I went there, I was just blown away. Now, they're part of the Hillsong family, but they're not Hillsong. And Wilma and Andre Olivier had a son called Adrian. And Adrian, his voice, he is a musical perfection. And I went there, and the worship was just so amazing to me.
So it was on another level.
It was on a whole other level. The church was on a whole other level. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
And this is in Johannesburg.
This is in Johannesburg. And it is an amazing church. And when you stand on the platform, you go, this is what heaven's going to look like. Because you can't decide, there's no majority of any race. It's evenly sprinkled. Indian, black, white, all the ethnicities. And they're all just praising God together. And the music is extraordinary. It feels like you've gotten translated to another planet.
Really?
Oh, it's amazing. And then he's an amazing teacher, and everyone operates in such excellence. And I was like, this is what God likes. This is it. I know he grins every time he looks at this church, you know? And I came back to Ghana and I was just restless. I was like, there needs to be something like that here. And I love that sound. You know, I've always been a closet rock person anyway, you know?
Really? See, everything is coming out.
I just love it. That guitar, it just does something to my soul.
So
I came back and I was like, I want that. I want that in Ghana. And so I was at my cousin's church at the time, and I went to him and I said, listen, I want to do something in the middle. You know, like, can I like have the afternoon and use a tent in the parking lot and just do something different? I just feel like something more contemporary, something more relevant needs to happen. And that's relevance. Yeah. Relevance, you know, and that's our mission statement, to make worship and the word of God relevant, to take worship beyond the walls of the church. So we started I had been managing a group from Nigeria called Threadstone. It was a Christian rock group, and the group kind of fell by the wayside, fell apart. They all went in pursuit of wives and stuff, but their lead guitarist came to Ghana and said, I want to work with you. And I said, let's do this. And so Umar, he's been here for like 6 years now. Hasn't been back home, you know, just totally committed to this. And we write all of our own music. And we get very interesting, unusual kind of invitations. Like we get to do the mall, you know, and you know, people are dancing and then they go, did they just say Jesus?
Because they're not expecting.
Right, because the vibe,
you have the guitar.
And we're jamming, and we do kind of a hybrid mix of rock, reggae, Afrobeat, jazz. I mean, it's a very eclectic mix, and all of the music has different flavors. So it's like eating
but it's really good.
Dish. It's really good.
That's because I'm particular about music, and I listen to arrangements. I just listen to the vocal quality. And when you played the music for me, I said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I said, why aren't more people hearing this?
Yes.
Because this right here is really good. So you captured whatever you were looking for. You captured.
Yes. So I'm just waiting for God to open the gate, because I believe we're going out. We're going out. We have 3 CDs. They're on iTunes. Relevance featuring Michelle McKinney Hammond. But we write all of our own music, and we perform in bars. I mean, we did this thing. We were at this bar and it was outside, started raining, nobody moved.
Really?
They sat there in the rain and refused to move. People pulled up chairs across the street and they just sat there. And you know, when you jam here, you can't jam for just an hour. They make you go for 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours. And we jammed for 4 hours. And afterwards, this guy came up and he said, oh man, that was amazing. And he said, I saw angels standing on the stage. I was like, really? He said, yes. It was a huge one. And, you know, he started explaining.
So he's not describing.
Yeah. And it was just really cool, you know. So we've done the mall, Accra Mall, people just dancing in the middle of the mall. And, you know, we've done some churches, but mostly we're invited to do a lot of secular things. And
the sound,
the sound is, very crossover.
Universal. That's a good way to say it. It's very, if you're looking for music that will have an evangelism emphasis,
right?
Then that's what,
right?
Because you're listening to it, it's not overwhelming one way or the other. It's like the perfect.
And yet it's all words. So for people who are Christians, they know, oh my gosh, you use that scripture.
They're here. And then,
but if you're not, you just think, oh, that's really inspirational. You know?
I'm listening to the instrumentation. I'm listening to all of the combinations in addition to the content.
Yes.
The lyrical content. I'm saying this right here is something special.
Yeah.
And I'm replaying your story.
Yeah.
You took us from childhood to meeting your father through your career.
Yeah.
Most people would not know. They would just know you from your books.
Yeah, exactly. Or speaking somewhere.
But they wouldn't know about the music. They wouldn't know about the car act. Well, maybe from some of the speeches that you've given. But when I hear what you're saying, it's almost like God created you with all of these different talents. And in each phase of your life, He's used each one.
Yes.
And in everything that you've touched has turned to gold.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm like, so relevance is just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time. And you know, because you've said all of that, I'd like to say to everybody watching, because there are a lot of people who wonder, well, what is my purpose? You know, and we have one purpose with many different expressions. So as seasons change in our lives, things shift and change. You know, you know, there's been the question, can you have it all? Yes, not all at the same time. You know, but there are some things that have remained constants in my life. My love for music. You know, and my love. I'm passionate about the word. And finding ways to express it so that it comes alive for people.
Interesting.
And is relevant to people. I mean, it has to be integrated into life. It's not something you stand afar off and say, that's a good story. No, it can be your story. You know, a lot of the Bible is descriptive, and then there's the prescriptive part of it. But all those stories are there for a reason. And to make them come alive in music, to make them come alive in the courses I teach, you know, I mean, during COVID, the books I write, and then, you know, I've got a lot of courses online. And during COVID, we came up with Love University.
So that's like a subscription base. Is that subscription based?
It's actually a master class that goes in semesters. So the next semesters will be in September. And, you know, so we do it quarterly.
All right.
And, you know, it's a whole relationship thing.
See, then you have the relationship component. I mean, it's, and I think that's probably why we click so well, because my personality is like doing all these different things. And people trying to figure out, well, what are you doing next?
Yeah.
How'd you end up in Africa?
Right.
But that's just how people are used in different seasons of their life.
Exactly.
And with you, looking at, like, COVID forced you to now go in a different lane. Right. Because you were online, it was there, but now you do even more online.
Exactly.
And then, until you can get
I was trapped in London well, I wasn't trapped. I had really enjoyed my stay in London.
Because you were born there, right?
I was born there, but I had never spent that much time since I left at the age of 2. I would go to London and speak and be there. The longest was maybe a week. I was headed there. I was actually in the States when the whole COVID outbreak happened. Narrowly got out of the States, went through London because I had 5 speaking engagements there, and the borders of Ghana closed. And so I was in London for 7 months and had a marvelous time. It was some of the most peaceful days of my life. But I started something called MMH Hangout.
And this was online?
It was online. And it was just a place for people to gather because everybody was stuck in the house, or they felt they were stuck in the house. And I was saying, I get to stay in the house. You're saying you have to stay in the house.
Like,
I'm saying I get to stay in the house. Because when I say I get to, all of a sudden the world opens up in my mind of all the possibilities of other things I get to do. If I say I have to, I'm paralyzed. I become a prisoner of my own words and my own mind, you know. So I said, okay, people are lonely, people are wanting to connect. So I created this hangout. And women from all over the world would log on every Saturday. I did it every Saturday starting in April to September. And then I now do it the first Saturday of every month.
And that's how you keep it going now.
I keep it going, and we've built community. Women have connected from all over the world. I mean, literally Dubai, Nigeria, Ghana, the Philippines, South Africa. I mean, literally everywhere.
Well, you have a huge following. I mean, you have an international following.
So they come on, and we put them into breakout rooms to discuss the topic of the Saturday. So they connect, they make friends, they formed communities, they have their own WhatsApp thread. My phone is always going ding, ding, ding with all of them talking to each other all day long.
Isn't that
Become friends, and they're bonding and supporting one another. And when there's an emergency, it's the most amazing thing to see them write and say, please pray for me. I'm getting ready to go to court. I'm so afraid, blah, blah, blah. And see like 20 women zooming, got your back, sister. Father, we're praying.
And this is on WhatsApp.
Yeah. And they all met on the Hangout or in one of the online courses.
Isn't that
and they
something?
get
Wow.
they get, you know, because I do master classes where they all come together. And those master classes are very transparent. It really, I thank God that I've created a safe space where people feel that they can weep. They can tell their horrible stories, their brokenness, reveal everything. And no one's judging, everyone's loving. I mean, last week we had a master class and I think they cried for a half hour. I just loved on the girl that was just broken at that point. So it's creating these pockets of safety for people to come together, form community online. They haven't met, now they want to meet. They were like, we all need to come to one place and get together and meet because they just love one another.
That's where my mind went.
Yeah, and they've got each other's back. They're praying for each other. If somebody hasn't said something for a while, they call the person, are you okay? We haven't heard from you in a while. And it's just really amazing. And none of that would have happened
if it weren't for COVID.
If it weren't for COVID. I say thank you, COVID. It has been amazing the things that have been birthed out of what some could see as a setback, but I see as a setup to go to the next level. And so
a pivot.
It's a pivot. It's a reset. It's you know, it's a recalibration. You know, when your computer gets over saturated, so to speak, it kind of just right? And you have to power it off and reboot it, and it comes back stronger than before. You know, in music, there's a rest. You know, the rest is for everyone to take their breath and come back in.
Yes.
You know, so I think that if we approach life that way, you know, I think probably one of the greatest lessons I've learned in Ghana is the power of silence. Interesting here, you know, like, I always say the Ghana glaze.
The Ghana glaze. Tell me about the Ghana glaze. Hello, let's move.
You can be talking to somebody and they'll be like,
and then they say,
and you have to look at their eyes, because then when you see the glaze come down, then you know nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. You're just talking, okay?
And so how do you when that glaze kicks in?
It's a very sensitive thing, but you know. Yeah. Because they're not a people that will say no. They'll just quietly walk away and never do it.
So like a passive aggressive kind of.
Yes, a passive aggressive kind of thing. But there's something kind of sweet about it when it's not irritating, you know, because there's just, you learn, you don't have to talk about everything. You don't have to prove your point about everything. There's a lot of power in silence.
They're just walking away.
They just walk away.
Isn't that something? Again, I mean, it's the gems that you've been dropping, the gems and the lessons from your life.
Yeah.
What will this next phase of the journey? What do you think is going to come out of this next phase? I mean, I know you go with the flow.
I feel like I'm getting ready to take off. You know, I'm creating a new fashion line, which we you know, I'm just gonna put that out there.
You just put it out there.
Yeah, MMH, me, myself, and him collection, all one of a kind, unique pieces. So that'll come in the fall.
Okay.
And you've inspired me to do something, but this is your show, so I'm not gonna talk about it on this show. And then,
I'm curious.
And then, you know what it is. And then
I'll remember. Okay.
Relevance is you know, I feel like we're on the precipice of it because there's just been so much, you know.
Opposition.
Yeah. So I know something good is coming, you know.
Well, somebody needs to know about what you're doing with the music because when I listen to it, I don't hear amateur. I don't hear low quality production. You know, when you're in industries, I'm wondering why we don't hear this everywhere. Yeah. Especially for the genre music, because that variety of what people are looking for. Yeah. It's so unique. Yeah. But it's so relevant. Yeah. And the quality is there. Like you said, you're mixing rock, Afro beats, reggae. You're watching a little bit of R&B flavor, a little bit of CCM. So you have a little bit of everything going on. And you talked about the mix.
Yes. We call it rockspiration.
Well, it's definitely that, but it's also, I heard some reggae. I mean,
reggae,
a little bit of everything.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this next
jazz.
That's why I say it's something that you should do a production with.
Yes, and we're going to, because you're pushing us up the hill.
I've been talking about this. Do this production and let people know about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
But there's so much more. There are more books.
Yeah, more books. I've kind
more
of been writing them. Definitely more courses. And Love You has been going so good, and it's been so transformational for the people who have taken it. I mean,
that's the course that you do quarterly.
Yes,
right.
Yes. I mean, the testimonies from that have just been unbelievable. It's so funny. This one woman, she's got her ex-husband watching the course now. Because he wanted to know what happened to you. You're different. Because they were like fisticuffs,
and then, Then all of a sudden she changed.
She's like a new woman.
And now so he's like, well, they might get remarried. What you think?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Now that would be a testimony, right?
That would be a testimony.
Folks will say, listen, Love You fixed my ex-marriage.
Yes,
not my marriage, but
I'm telling you, fixed
it. Right.
You know, but it's really been a gem for me. And just, you know, I've done book clubs and have things with my novels, you know, with
you can do a lot with the books that you've already written.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm really kind of breathing new life into them and doing courses with them, because there's so much in them, you know, that they literally are courses. So next year we've got the Diva Masterclass coming back, which we did earlier. And a series on how to make life and how to make love work. So lots of book stuff, courses. They can always go to my website at michellehammond.com and see what my resources are.
And where else can they find you? Because I know you're on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube at Michelle McKinney Hammond. And you can look up Relevance Life on YouTube as well. We have our own channel there. And then same thing on IG is all Relevance Life for IG, Twitter, Facebook, and for me, Facebook is Michelle McKinney Hammond, and IG is McKinney Hammond.
At McKinney Hammond.
And
they can find you on all of those handles.
Yeah.
And your website, michellemckinneyhammond.com.
Yep.
And of course.
No, website is michellehammond.com.
Michellehammond.com. Because McKinney would be so long.
It's so long.
That's a marketing thing. I was like, that would really be long. Now, how do I spell McKinney? Am I spelling it right?
So, well, you know I have to cover it. So it's Michelle McKinney Hammond, Michelle Hammond, but we use Michelle Hammond because it's shorter.
Got it. MichelleHammond.com. Well, in closing, would you like to share anything else with the audience?
Well, Jay is doing tours to Ghana. Okay. I think that this is not your mama's Africa. This is not white America's Africa. This is not media's Africa. You will come and be amazed, transformed. I'll put it to you this way. Every friend that has come to Ghana to visit me has never come once. Really? They always come back. They're always telling me to bring them things. And you know, I had a couple friends who came and they're like, oh, I probably won't shop a lot, you know.
Oh,
and they were killing the ATM.
Like, and it works. The ATM works.
The ATM works. Now, I will say that we are a cash carrying society. So most places you need cash. Ghana has revolutionized the way I deal with money. Because here, if you don't have the money, you're not getting it, okay? When they build a house, they've paid for that house. Okay, they don't do mortgages because the bank is 30% interest. So we can't afford to borrow money here. 30%. So people save their money and buy what they have to buy and they own it. And I think that's so healthy and so wonderful. So, you know, it's a very different world from what you've been told. Great food, great fashion, great people, great activities, beautiful scenery, breathtaking things to look and see. Lots of wealth. I haven't seen any flies buzzing around children's eyes anywhere. You know, not to say that everyone's wealthy, but there's massive wealth here, and there are endless opportunities for business, for you to live your dream here. And it's something that you have to come and see and experience and taste and feel for yourself. So that's what I would say. People always ask me, will I move back to America? I don't think I'd survive there. to be perfectly honest. My threshold for America is 3 weeks at a time. I start getting antsy, and that third week I'm ready to get back home. Yeah.
Well, you heard it from the Michelle McKinney Hammond. And if you take everything, all of the different pieces of wisdom and just learning from her story, hopefully it will inspire you. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation, because this is how we sit and talk all the time.
Oh, and by the way, if you come here without me or Jay, I do have an Airbnb in Cape Coast. Look it up, Villa Iodele. There you go.
That's Villa Iodele. So, but really, I mean, that is what you want to do, because so many of you want to come. You're trying to figure out ways to come. And one, Airbnb is a perfect way to do it, especially if you want to have an extended stay. But let's say you want to have a short stay. Villa Iodele.
Yeah.
That's your middle name.
Yes.
I remember.
And my grandmother's name.
That's right.
It was my grandmother's house.
And so that's in Cape Coast.
Yes, and it's a villa. It's big, sitting right, you look down at the ocean.
You know what? We need to talk.
Okay.
We need to talk. You just gave me an idea. You just gave me an idea. She's waving her hands.
It's a wrap.
She's waving her hands. All right, we're out.